Good day, everyone. So, from our last topic, the posting and unadjusted trial balance, we discussed the standard format for posting or the recording of our ledger, as well as the unadjusted trial balance. So, now let's go to the next chapter of our subject, the the adjustments. So, going back to our accounting process means from our recitations last meeting, hindi pa lahat nakaka-memorize nitong ating accounting process. So, balik tayo. The analyzing, journalizing, posting, unadjusted trial balance, and now the adjustments or itong tinatawag nating adjusting entries. So, bakit tayo gumagawa ng adjustments? O bakit tayo gumagawa ng adjusting entries? So, basically, kung babalikan natin yung ating journal entries, gumagawa tayo ng initial recording of transactions. So, from there, since initial pa lang siya, at the end of the month, bago tayo gumawa ng ating financial statements, those figures na nandoon sa ating book of accounts is hindi na siya updated. So, to update, kailangan natin gumawa ng adjustments. Ma'am, paano po natin nasabi na dapat magkaroon ng update yung mga figures na yun? For example, yung ating mga supplies, yung initial entry natin dun is or yung amount natin dun is kung magkano yung amount nung time na binili natin. Pero at the end of the month or at the end of the period, syempre may mga portion dun na magagamit na natin or nagamit na natin. So dapat i-adjust natin yung amount ng ating supplies. So kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng adjusting entries or if meron tayong mga errors or yung bookkeeper is merong errors na na-commit. So, dapat i-adjust natin or dapat i-correct natin yun. So, the purpose of adjustments or adjusting entries is to update and reflect the true balances of all accounts. So, we have here, ito yung summary ng ating mga dapat i-adjust. So, first, we have the deferrals. We have the accruals, provision of depreciation, provision for estimated doubtful accounts, and the correction of errors. Kapag sinabing deferrals, it refers to the delay in the recognition of accounting transaction. For example, kapag bumili tayo ng advertising policy or say insurance policy, I mean. Pag bumili tayo ng insurance policy, hindi natin siya in-expense kaagad. Dine-defer natin yung pag-record ng expense. Kasi nga, since hindi pa natin siya nagamit, i-charge muna natin siya sa asset. So, yun siya subject to adjustments, to deferrals. Again, delay in recognition of accounting transactions. Next, number 2, we have the accruals. Pag sinabing accruals, no, kung babalikan natin yung accrual accounting, sabi dun, income is recognized when earned regardless of when received, and expenses are recorded when incurred regardless of when paid. So, mas maintindihan natin later on kapag meron na tayong examples. Isa siya sa mga dapat i-adjust. Next is the provision of depreciation. Kapag sinabing depreciation, ito yung amount ng assets natin na nagamit natin. For example, meron tayong equipment. Through passage of time, through wear and tear, so, or sa paggamit natin, yun yung ibig sabihin nun, bumababa yung value ng ating asset. So, yung expense na ka-partner niya ng assets natin or ng depreciable assets natin is the depreciation expense. Next is, so gumagawa tayo ng depreciation, nagpo-provide tayo ng depreciation at the end of the period. Next is the provision for estimated doubtful accounts. So, ano ang ibig sabihin ng estimated doubtful accounts or other term nito, uncollectible accounts or bad debts. So, this account is para dun sa mga accounts receivable natin na possible hindi na natin mako-collect. So, dahil conservative itong si accounting or say si business, conservative siya na baka out of 100 pesos niya na receivable, baka meron ditong 10 pesos or 5 pesos na hindi natin mako-collect. So, ini-estimate na yan ni business. So, yung 5 pesos or 10 pesos na estimation niya of doubtful accounts, macha-charge yun ngayon sa expense. Pero, ang kapartner nun is an allowance account. So, later on, magbibigay pa din tayo ng example para mas maintindihan. Next is the correction of errors. So, gaya nung sinagutan yun last meeting, yung sa unadjusted trial balance, kapag nagkaroon ng incorrect use of accounting or account title, kapag nagkaroon ng transpositional error, kapag nagkaroon ng sliding error, or any type of error, nagkamali yung pag-analyze ng transaction. So, we correct those errors through adjusting entries. So, now hihimay-himayin natin itong ating mga subject to adjustment. So, first we have this deferrals. Again, delay in recognition of accounting transaction. So, first we have prepayments. Kapag sinabing prepayments, so ito yung mga asset na binili mo na hindi mo pa nagagamit or hindi mo pa nagagastos. So, binayaran mo siya pero hindi mo pa siya nagagamit. So, prepayments ang tawag doon. At ang pangalawa is yung unearned income. Ibig sabihin ng unearned income, naka-receive ka ng pera pero hindi ka pa nakapag-render ng service. So, ibig sabihin meron ka pang utang na service sa customer mo. So, again, under deferrals, meron talagang cash involved. Sa prepayments, nagbayad ka pero hindi mo pa nagagamit. Sa unearned income naman, nakatanggap ka na ng pera pero hindi ka pa nakakapag-render ng service. So, para mas maintindihan, punta tayo dito. Sige, start muna tayo sa prepayments. Under prepayments, we record it normally using the asset method. For example, bumili tayo ng supplies. Yung normal entry natin, we debit asset or we debit supplies, we credit cash. So, dito, sa prepayments, meron tayong dalawang method ng pag-record. So, yung alam nyo lang is yung asset method, pero hindi nyo alam kung ano ang ginagawa kapag ginagamitan natin ng expense method. So, let's start with our example. The company bought an insurance policy covering 2-year on January 1, 2020 worth 24,000. What would be the adjusting journal entry at the end of the month? So again, i-record natin siya using asset method and expense method. So magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng comparison ng ating dalawang method. So again, dito magkakaroon muna tayo ng initial entry. So kapag sinabing initial entry, ito yung tinatawag nating journal entry. Yung upon the occurrence of the transaction, ito yung entry natin. So again, the company bought an insurance policy covering 2-year on January 1, 2020 worth 24,000 pesos. So using asset method, ito yung normal na ginagawa natin. So alam natin yung entry dito. For January 1, debit tayo ng prepaid insurance. And then, we credit cash kasi nga nagbayad tayo. Worth 24,000 pesos. So, ito yung entry natin. Normally, ito yung ginagawa natin under asset method. Pero kapag sinabing expense method, pag expense method yung ginamit natin, dapat meron tayong expense account. So, ang entry natin, again, the initial entry or the journal entry for this transaction is a debit to insurance expense and a credit to cash of 24,000 pesos. So, wag kayong malilito, no? Kapag sinabi sa journal entry, kapag asset method, dapat meron tayong asset. Kapag sa expense method naman, dapat meron tayong expense. Yun lang naman yung sinasabi niya. And then, down tayo dito sa question, what would be the adjusting journal entry at the end of the month? So, ang ibig sabihin, yes, at the end of the month is January 31. So, question, at the end of the month, 24,000 pa din ba yung prepaid insurance natin? So, kung i-compute natin, hindi. Kasi nga, nagamit na natin yung isang buwan ng ating insurance. So, i-compute muna natin before tayo mag-entry. So, yung prepaid insurance natin is 24,000. This is good for 2 years. So, kapag sinabing 2 years, that is 12 months times 2. So, we have 24 months. Ibig sabihin, kapag dinivide natin 24 by 24, 24,000 by 24, yung monthly natin is 1,000. Ibig sabihin, sa isang buwan, 1,000 yung magiging expense or yung magagamit na. So, yung magiging entry natin or magiging adjusting entry natin, kasi nga, yung yung amount ng ating prepaid insurance is 24. On January 31, hindi na ito yung totoong balanse ng prepaid insurance natin. So, dapat natin siyang i-adjust. So, to adjust, our entry would be a debit to insurance expense kasi nga nagamit na yung isang buwan, 1,000. And then, credit tayo ng prepaid insurance of 1,000. So, kapag gumawa ka ng T-account, ngayon ng prepaid insurance, ito yun. Ito yung mangyayari sa kanya. Meron kang 24 dito, bawasan mo ng 1,000, ibig sabihin meron kang 23,000 na prepaid insurance. Because of this entry, na-reflect mo yung true balance ng prepaid insurance account. So, for our expense method, since kanina, yung na-record natin, nag-debit tayo ng insurance expense and then we credit cash. Now, ang sabi sa problem, gagawa daw tayo ng adjusting entry. So, balik tayo. Again, yung expense lang natin is 1,000. Pero yung naka-record natin sa initial is 24. So, dapat mag-reflect yung true balance ng insurance expense, which is 1,000. So, para ma-adjust, our entry would be a debit to prepaid insurance of 23,000 and a credit to insurance expense of 23,000 pesos. So, na-reflect natin yung totoong balance. Again, yung asset natin dapat 23,000. Yung expense natin dapat 1,000. So, dahil sa ginawa nating adjustment, napalabas natin yung true balance ni insurance expense, 24 less 23, that is 1,000. And si prepaid insurance na 23,000 pesos. So, another example for prepayments. Another example, the company purchased an office supplies amounting to 52,000 pesos. What would be the adjusting journal entry at the end of the month if the remaining supplies were 20,000 pesos? So again, gawin natin yung ating initial entry or our journal entry on January 1 upon purchase of the office supplies. Asset method, yung normal natin na ginagawa. We debit supplies and then we credit cash in the amount of 52,000 pesos. Next, for our expense method, again, dapat meron tayong expense account. So, para gawin yan, debit tayo ng supplies expense of 52,000 and then credit tayo ng cash of 52,000 peso. Now, for our adjusting entry, sabi sa problem, what would be the adjusting journal entry at the end of the month if the remaining supplies were 20,000? So, sabi sa problem, dapat daw yung asset natin 20,000 na lang. Pero yung na-record natin dito, 52 ha. Ito yung binili ng first. So, dapat 20,000 na lang daw yung natira. So, yan yung sabi sa ating problem. So, ang unang tanong dito, kung eto na lang yung natirang asset, magkano ba yung nagastos na? Or magkano ba yung na-expense na? Again, originally, our supplies is 52,000. Ito yung remaining, ibig sabihin, yung nagastos na natin, that is 52 minus 20. Yung expense natin is 32,000. Again, out of 52,000, 20,000 yung natira, 32,000 yung nagastos. So, to reflect the true balance of our supplies na 20, dapat gagawa tayo ng adjusting entry for that. So, yung magiging entry natin dito, debit tayo ng supplies expense na 32,000 and then credit tayo ng supplies na 32,000. Again, na-reflect natin yung expense na 32 and then kapag binawasan mo itong 52 ng 32, sabihin meron kang supplies na 20,000. Next, under expense method, tanggalin muna natin to. So, for expense method, again, balik tayo. Yung supplies expense na naka-record is 52. Dapat 32 lang. So, dapat bawasan natin to. So, debit tayo ngayon ng prepaid or, sorry, debit tayo ngayon ng supplies of 20,000 and then credit tayo ng supplies expense of 20,000 pesos. Next, for our deferrals is we have the unearned income. Again, dito naka-receive tayo ng pera pero hindi pa tayo nakapag-render ng service. So, yung usual na ginagawa natin dito, nagde-debit tayo ng cash for the cash received and then we credit a liability account. So, under unearned income ng deferrals, meron tayong dalawang method na. So, yung alam nyo lang is liability method. Pero ngayon, check natin kung ano ang mangyayari kapag ginamitan natin ng income method. Balik nga pala tayo. Kahit anong gamitin nyo dito, kahit anong gamitin nyo, asset or expense method, makukuha nyo yung tamang sagot. The same answer. The same amount. So, dapat intindihin nyo siya ng mabuti. So, ito tayo sa example ng ating unearned income. On January 1, 2020, Gorio, a carpenter, received 50,000 in advance ito from Mr. T for the furniture. Assuming at December 31, 35,000 worth of furnitures have been delivered to Mr. T. So again, gawa tayo ng initial entry or journal entry. Naka-receive daw si Gorio ng 50,000 in advance para sa paggawa ng furniture. So, ano yung entry natin? Under liability method, ito yung normal na ginagawa. We debit cash And then we credit a liability account. So, ang gagamitin nating account title is unearned service revenue in the amount of 50,000. So, that is the entry for the transaction under liability method. Meron tayong liability account. So, next, under income method, dapat meron tayong income account. The same cash of 50,000 and then we credit an income account. So, yung income account natin na gagamitin is service revenue of 50,000 pesos. So, yan yung pinagkaiba ng liability method and the income method. Both are under the credit side. Sabi sa problem, assuming at December 31 daw, 35,000 worth of furnitures have been delivered to Mr. T. Ibig sabihin, natapos niya na yung mga furnitures worth 35,000. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung 35,000 na yun yung income. Yun na yung totoong income talaga natin. Kasi nga natapos niya na. So, out of 50,000 na na-receive, 35,000 yung na-earned na. And then yung liability outstanding is 15,000 pesos. Now, to adjust our liability account under liability method, kasi nga ang na-record dito 50. Pero at the end of the year, ang totoong balance na lang is 15,000. So, adjust natin. Yung magiging entry natin is a debit to unearned service revenue of magkano? 35,000. And then credit to service revenue of 35,000 pesos. So, yung nangyari, si 50 na utang, binawasan mo ng 35, ibig sabihin magre-reflect na ngayon yung true amount niya na 15,000. Under income method naman, ang naka-record is 50. Dapat 35 lang. So, para maging 35, ang amount na ito, ang gagawin natin, debit natin si service revenue, 15,000. And then, credit natin si unearned service revenue of 15,000 pesos. Again, kahit anong method yung gamitin nyo, dapat lumabas yung liability na 15 and yung income na 35,000 pesos. So, next in line is the accruals. So, under accruals, we have accrual expense and accrual income. So, diretso na tayo sa ating example. At December 31, X Enterprise has a 3-day unpaid salaries. So, salaries are 60,000 for a 5-day work week. So, sabi doon sa problem, at December 31, merong 3 araw na hindi pa bayad si X Enterprise. Sabi din dito, sa isang week daw, for 5 days, yung pagtrabaho is good for 5 days. 60,000 yung marireceive ng empleyado. So, divide lang natin yung 60,000 by 5 para makuha natin yung per day ng kanyang empleyado. Pag dinivide natin yan, ibig sabihin yung daily salary ng kanyang mga empleyado is 12,000. So, since meron siyang 3 days na hindi bayad, times natin yan sa 3 days. 12,000 times 3, ibig sabihin, meron siyang 36,000 pesos of unpaid salaries. So, ano yung magiging entry natin for that? Since nakapag-render na ng service yung ating empleyado o yung empleyado na X Enterprise, malamang expense na yun. So, debit tayo ng salaries expense of 36,000 and then credit tayo ng salaries payable. Kapag nag-entry kayo, again, napansin ko sa mga sa removal quiz ng mga nag-answer ng journal entry, naka-straight pa din. Again, huwag kalimutan, dapat naka-indent yung ating credit side as well as the amount. Ito yung magiging entry natin for that example. Meron pa pala, take note, merong gumagamit ng accrued salaries, pwede din natin gamitin. Accrued salaries, kung ayaw nyong gumamit ng salaries payable, pwede accrued salaries. So again, balik tayo dito. Kapag sinabing accrued expense, hindi yan expense account ha. Accrued expense is a liability account. And kapag sinabing accrued income, that is an asset account, or specifically, that is a receivable account. So next example is, on July 1, Mr. X engaged in leasing warehouse spaces. Ibig sabihin ng leasing, nagpaparenta ng warehouse space. Received a 100,000 pesos, 88% 3-year note from a customer. So, note yung natanggap niya instead of cash. Again, normally we do our adjusting entry at the end of the period, or normally at every December 31 if the company uses the calendar year in reporting its financial statements. So, dito ay ko-compute natin is yung interest. So, that is from July 1 up to December 31 na interest. So, since note yung binayad sa kanya, syempre hindi pa yun cash kasi nga note. So, yung income niya dun na makukuha sa note, kasi nga kung cash, diretso na sa kanya yung cash. Pero kapag note, meron niyang mga interest. So, yung interest niya ngayon, yan yung magiging another form of his income. So, compute natin yung income niya. We have the principal amount of 100,000, the 8% as the interest. Take note na kapag binigyan tayo ng interest rate, that is good for 1 year or annually. And then, the 3 years daw yung note. So ito siya. Para makuha natin yung interest, kasi ito yung isosolve natin, ito yung magiging adjusting entry natin. Interest is equal to principal times rate, or the percentage interest rate, times the length of time. So, yung principal natin is 100,000 times rate of 8%, and then yung length of time natin. So, since July 1, nag-start up to December 31. Again, take note, it is from July 1 to December 31. So, ilang months meron tayo? From July to December 31, we have 6 months. So, again, yung binigay na 8% sa atin, that is good for 1 year. So, times 6 over 12. So, ang answer natin dito is 4,000 pesos. Again, itong 6 over 12, this is a 6 months. Kasi from July 1 to December 31. And then yung 12 is 1 year. Kasi nga, good for 1 year itong 8%. So, yung magiging entry natin for this, debit tayo ng interest receivable of 4,000. And then, credit tayo ng interest income. We record the income when earned regardless of when received. Kaya nga receivable pa natin siya. Nire-record na natin siya as income at hindi pa natin natatanggap yung pera. So, ang other term na ginagamit dito or other account title, pwede natin gamitin accrued interest income or accrued interest receivable. So, yun. I mean, accrued interest income dapat. Accrued interest income. So, yan yung magiging entry natin.